It's very easy to look back on history and wonder just how a civilized state such as Germany elected a guy who would bring such misfortune to a country. I could imagine that many of you believe things and would say things like, I would never fall for the seductive charm of a man like Hitler. But I assure you, you most definitely would. Let's paint a picture. Tens of nations, all rich in history of prosperity and nationalistic pride, brought together to form one great supernation. This superstate, and the spectacle engraved in your history books that you used to read, is now in a state of depression. Leaders who previously promised you and your people greatness and intercontinental power have now vanished. And those in power now are dubbed as criminals by the masses. Your country is now a joke. Not only is the only way to defend your borders entirely deteriorated, you are expected to pay for the mistakes made by your absent leaders. And above all of this, your country, and your country alone, is made responsible for the misfortune that you now live in. Economic depression has taken a grip among your people. Unemployment rates skyrocket, and people run rampant through the streets. But one day, a man with a tiny mustache tells you that he and he alone can fix it all, but he needs your help to make that happen. He promises spectacles of greatness, nationalistic ideals of prosperity and economic stability. No, he promises even more. Your nation is to be a world power, unlike anything you will have ever seen. With this man, your nation will dominate intercontinental politics like no other. Germany will either be a world power or not exist at all. The Great Depression was at its peak in 1929. Germany's economy had yet again diminished, and people were losing hope in the Weimar government. Businesses and employment rates suffered immensely as demands for goods such as cars, electrical items, and clothing fell. People could not afford the rising prices of food, so many starved, and farmers' profits decreased dramatically. Unemployment rose to the point at which unemployment registers accounted for 6 million unemployed people in 1932. Many Germans were forced to sell their possessions for money. It was clear that the majority of Germans were losing interest in the Weimar government and needed other political alternatives to that of the currently failing social democracy. During this time, the race for the future of Germany rested within the hands of two opposing ideologies: the Nazis or the Communists. In 1928, the Nazis held 12 seats in the Reichstag, whereas the Communists held 54. To combat this, Hitler appointed Joseph Goebbels as head of party propaganda. Goebbels understood the power of propaganda, creating an image to engrave a party's regime into the minds of the people. During the Depression, the Nazis party adopted the phrase Arbeit und Brot, which means work and bread, to offer a simple promise of providing jobs so that people could look after their families. As stated earlier, unemployment rose to over 6 million people, which equated to over 40% of the entire German workforce. This is why Hitler found it essential to appeal to the workers that may otherwise vote for the communists. Goebbels organized large political summits called rallies, which demonstrated an image of power and control. Commonly held in the city of Nuremberg, where Nazi rallies were attended by hundreds and even thousands of people. Goebbels managed these rallies to display a spectacle of overwhelming power and unity within the Nazi Party and its supporters. The fine, uniformed nature of the Nazi dress code, torchlit parades in the cover of darkness, banners, symbols, and most of all, speeches. Upon the arrival of Hitler, when ready to deliver a speech, the whole mass of people always drew to a sharp silence, ready and eager to hear the words of the Enlightenment from the strong and charismatic charm that was Adolf Hitler.
Es kam die Zeit, da man sich nur dann mit Stolz zum Deutschen bekennen durfte, wenn man den Blick in die Vergangenheit richtete, sich aber schämen musste, wenn man die Gegenwart besah. Eine Inflation hat unser Volk Sie verwechseln uns mit ihresgleichen selbst. Wir haben ein Ziel uns gewählt und verfechten es fanatisch, rücksichtslos dieses Grab hinein. Ihnen nicht und Zehntausenden, die Jahr für Jahr den Gashahn aufdrehen, nicht weil es ihnen gut geht, eine solche Bewegung aus nichts geschafft worden. Sie können uns unterdrücken, sie können uns meinetwegen töten, kapitulieren werden wir nicht. Von der Liebe zu diesem einen Volk und jede felsenfeste Überzeugung, aus ihrem Gott auf einmal ist umgekommen, in deren Millionen schon heute verflogen, hinter uns stehen und mit uns begrüßen werden dann das gemeinsam geschaffene, wiedererkannte, wiedererworbene neue deutsche Reich, der Größe und der Ehre und der Kraft und der Herrlichkeit und der Gerechtigkeit. Amen. Am 30. Januar sind in Deutschland die Würfel gefallen. Und ich glaube nicht, dass die Gegner, die damals mochten, heute auch noch lachen. Es lebe die nationalsozialistische Bewegung! Es lebe Deutschland!
Hitler's speeches are perhaps one of the key factors as to why Nazi support was so high. He was a keen and prominent public speaker who seemed to have no fear of expressing his views to the public. He promised ideals that appealed to many of the German people: a removal of the Treaty of Versailles, the emergence of Germany yet again as a world power, economic stability, and high employment rates, as well as the utter destruction of all communist influence in Germany. But overall, Hitler made it very clear that Hitler, and Hitler alone, was the only one to make this happen. Goebbels took more approaches at gaining control and influence over the German people. The Nazis owned newspapers and radio stations that implemented strict controls and censorship to spread Nazi ideals. They praised Hitler's leadership and the Nazi Party, and criticized political enemies such as the Communists and Jews. Goebbels recognized the radio broadcasts as the most powerful tool to infiltrate the minds of the masses. He used radios to broadcast Hitler's speeches and the messages of the rallies to the homes of the German people. The Nazi Party opened local branches across the country where they could distribute leaflets and hold speeches. Furthermore, the Nazis trained public speakers, which was designed to improve the linguistic skills and spread messages within the party members. They also raised money to fund the election campaigns by aligning with wealthy businessmen, yet also accepted donations to the public to fund the Nazi cause. The Nazis had certainly made a name for themselves, to say the least. They ensured that almost everywhere in Germany was reminded of the Nazi dream. Along with Hitler's strong charisma and influence and Goebbels' propaganda, the German people were almost indoctrinated into falling to Nazi ideals. All Hitler needed now was a new election.